They hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, family? It's your boy Hot Boxing Minute, back at you with the realness as only I can bring it to you. I know, before we begin or do or say anything, hit that like button, folks. Hit that like button. It's good for the algorithm. Help your boy out. Let's grow this brand together. I know it's been about a couple weeks, maybe even longer than that since the last time I posted up. It has been an interesting ride for me in the world of boxing. I also got sick. Mind you, I was there at the Joe Smith Jr. versus Zerto Ramirez fight. I also ended up pulling up to that awesome Giovanni Santillan versus Alexis Rocha event. And I should have been posting more here on YouTube, but I get so busy with my full-time job, traveling to these events, doing the photography stuff, and of course my TikTok channel, which is where I get most of my content creator money because I don't get paid much off YouTube, but I really am going to try to focus more on YouTube, folks. I need to grow the brand on this channel, and I can't let you guys down. So if I have been kind of negligent on this channel, I'm trying not to, and I'm going to do better, I promise.
I just want to celebrate.
So celebrate with me, folks. Your boy Jeff is going to get you through it. We had a big weekend of fights, and I'm going to go from the first ones that started off, I believe it was Friday, or was it Thursday? It was one of those days. We had that big women's card out there in Florida involving, of course, everyone's sweetheart Amanda Serrano. And then we also, of course, had Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. That one had everybody talking. And I think the jewel of the whole weekend was that O'Shaquie Foster versus Rocky Hernandez fight that occurred out there in Cancun, Mexico on the Matchroom DAZN card. But we're going to start off, and I'm going to go first with Amanda Serrano, everybody's favorite 7-division boxing champion. You know, that fight that went down with Amanda Serrano and Danila Ramos this weekend out there in Orlando, Florida, went under the radar, and it really shouldn't have. Look, Amanda Serrano once again made boxing history. She fought 12 3-minute rounds, and that's the first time women have done that in professional boxing in 16 years. It was a fun, action-packed affair. The WBC decided it didn't want to sanction the event, and Mauricio Sulaiman said something to the effect of, he doesn't feel that women should fight 3-minute rounds, and yet, you know, the WBC does its own strange things, sanctioning certain fights. I'm not going to get into the politics of it all, but either way, Amanda Serrano won wide on the cards. She did not get the knockout. Now, I think most people were feeling that with 12 3-minute rounds, she would get the knockout. Danila Ramos was at a disadvantage stylistically and technically from the jump. I think everything was pretty much set up for there to be a stunning knockout, hopefully in promotion of 12 3-minute rounds. And I'll be honest, I don't know if that helped sell the idea of 12 3-minute rounds, but Amanda Serrano successfully defended her undisputed featherweight championship without being sanctioned by the WBC. And we also got the awesome announcement that the vacant WBC strap, the super middleweight strap, actually, yes, the super middleweight strap, will be fought for by Shadasia Green and Franchon Cruz on a Jake Paul fight card on December 15th. So that whole event was awesome. If you don't know who Shadasia Green is, you better do your homework. She's knocking girls out. Franchon Cruz, the former unified champion, the former undisputed champion, she's a badass herself. Boxing community, for those of you that saw that event involving Amanda Serrano and Danila Ramos, what did you think? Should women go to 3-minute rounds in 12 round fights? Let me know in the comment section, y'all. Let's chop this up. And I thought it was a good fight. Danila Ramos was on the back foot most of the fight. Amanda Serrano is one tough cookie. She represents Puerto Rico so well. You did see Edgar Berlanga in the crowd, and I think Edgar Berlanga keeps talking about a fight with either Jaime Munguia or Canelo. I'm not exactly sure about the feasibility of either one of those fights, but yo, hats off to Amanda Serrano. She's dope. She's dope. And Shadasia Green and Franchon Cruz DAZN, y'all. Watch out for that fight when it does come up on December 15th. Those are two very heavy-handed girls that like to exchange, so it's going to be a good fight. And let's pivot over from that fight card on Florida, and I want to talk about what was going on? Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. That was a fascinating event to say the least. Riyadh season in full effect. The Saudis spared no expense. They flew celebrities in. I saw CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo there. I saw Eminem. Amir Khan was fawning over Eminem. It was so weird. Marcio Antonio Barrera was out there. Roy Jones Jr., Lennox Lewis, of course, the legend himself, Mike Tyson. We had all the fighters that were involved in the event. The amount of boxing legends that were at that event was unreal. The Saudis made a huge statement with that fight event out there in Riyadh. Eddie Hearn closed that deal, and there really isn't much that the American promoters can do to compete with that kind of limitless spending potential that the Saudis have out there. They had a ring, and the ring lowered down into the bottom, and then they had Little Baby performing. They had Becky G performing. It was just unbelievable. And then the ring would come back up after the performances. What kind of American special effects production teams are going to compete with that? Like, who has the budget? I mean, it's a big deal out there in Australia during Tim Tszyu fights for them just to have flamethrowers in the crowd, let alone have a state-of-the-art sinking ring and have A-list music performers in between fights performing. It was unreal. It was unreal. You got to give your hats off to the Saudis. I'm not sure how many of these big events they want to do or what kind of frequency they want for these events, but they seem to have a limitless well of money and resources. That's that good old oil money. Boxing community, for those of you that saw that event, what did you think about the setup of it all, about the grandiosity of it all? Let me know in the comment section on that one. And, of course, Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, a very controversial fight indeed. Tyson Fury successfully defends his lineal heavyweight title because his WBC belt was not up for grabs, but as a lineal champion, your belt. So, how do I say this? So, that Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou fight card was obviously super controversial in the ending. The belt was not up for grab, not the WBC belt anyways, but Tyson Fury's lineal title. The man who beat the man who beat the man that has been chronicled throughout boxing history. That is on the line anytime you step in the ring. And for boxing purists, that is the most important title in all of boxing. Tyson Fury went out there as the lineal heavyweight champion of boxing and went tooth and nail. Even got dropped on the canvas early in the fight by Francis Ngannou in a fight that he should have easily won. Francis Ngannou, this was his first professional fight as a boxer. Hats off to Francis Ngannou for showing the whole world something they had never seen. The MMA community finally got a win inside that ring against boxers after all the Jake Paul hoopla and the YouTubers knocking out former MMA champions. Tyson Fury took a hot, steaming shart all over the bed in that fight. He clearly didn't prepare. He didn't look anything like the person that we had seen steamroll Derek Chisora or steamroll Deontay Wilder or steamroll, Dillian White. No, Tyson Fury looked bang average in that fight. Zhilei Zhang was talking his mess after the fight. Of course, Alexander Usyk looked very confused. He was in the crowd looking crazy like, yo, Tyson Fury is about to fumble this bag. Tyson Fury won a split decision win against that man, Francis Ngannou. Many people feel Francis Ngannou should have won. I wasn't one of them. I looked down at my scorecards. I had it 95-94 in favor of Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Boxing community, for those of you that saw that circus, what did you think about the event? Let me know in the comment section, y'all. Let's chop this one up. Tyson Fury, I don't know what to say, y'all. I'm not the biggest Tyson Fury supporter myself. I know a lot of people are across the pond of a certain kind of fanboy minority out there. But Tyson Fury has kind of lost his good faith. The general boxing public lost its good faith in Tyson Fury a long time ago, folks. So for those of you MMA fans who were seeking blood or thinking that boxing was going to be ashamed of it, it is not a shock to hardcore boxing fans. Yes, Tyson Fury is still undefeated. Yes, Tyson Fury did do what he did to Deontay Wilder, but We want to see Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. We have not had an undisputed heavyweight world champion since Lennox Lewis. Now, I'm not saying I'm a super critic of Tyson Fury. I'm just letting you know there wasn't a lot of good credit or good public faith in Tyson Fury in the build-up to Francis Ngannou. So Tyson Fury totally taking Francis Ngannou for granted did not shock anyone. For him to come in there, his heaviest ever, or at least one of his heaviest weights that he's fought at since he became a pro, it didn't shock anybody. For him to fight the way he did, he clearly looked like he did not take Francis Ngannou seriously. That did not shock anybody. So, you know, MMA fans, take that moral victory, because yes, Tyson Fury technically won the battle, but he lost the public relations war. MMA gets that one big dub over boxing, and I know MMA fans like to say boxing is dead, as do many other critics, but boxing is not going to die. In the wise words of Larry Merchant, boxing, you can't fix it, you can't kill it. It's boxing, folks. How you like them apples? And anyways, I just had to get off on my tirade, folks. It was an interesting fight card. We had Fabio Wardley defeated David Adelaide. I liked watching Fabio Wardley beat David Adelaide. David Adelaide was talking a whole bunch of mess in the build-up to that fight. I love Fabio Wardley's background story. For those of you that don't know, he didn't have any amateur experience. He started boxing at 19. He came up in the white-collar circuit. So their version of white-collar is kind of like what our version here is of the tough man competitions that you have like out there in West Virginia and out there in the boonies. You know, the tough man competitions are what gave us Butterbean and what gave us guys like Greg Haugen. So Tommy Fury, not Tommy Fury, but Tommy Morrison. Those guys all came out of the tough man competition. So David Adelaide came out of the UK version of that. Not David Adelaide. Goodness, I am so screwed up my words. So brain fart, folks. Brain fart. I got to do better than that, folks. So, anyways, Fabio Wardley had no amateur experience, right? He comes out of the UK white-collar circuit. That was where he kind of carved his blade. And that is the equivalent of our tough man competitions out here in the United States. Our tough man competitions gave us Butterbean. Our tough man competitions gave us Greg Haugen, the one that got beat up by Julio Cesar Chavez and called his resume a bunch of Tijuana cab drivers. Greg Haugen was a legitimate lightweight champion too, though, in his time. Tommy the Duke Morrison came out of the tough man competition. So it isn't unusual for people to come from a left of center type of boxing background and actually achieve something in boxing, which is what Fabio Wardley has done out there in the UK. He had a strong athletic base. He has knockout power, which is something you cannot train. And he is now the British boxing champion, the British heavyweight champion, and the Commonwealth heavyweight champion after his recent win over David Adelaide out there on the Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou card as the co-main event. Hats off to that man, Fabio Wardley. I can't wait to see what's next. I'm thinking he's going to fight Frazier Clark, and after that, start going after the international circuit, the big names. We'll see. Sky's the limit for Fabio Wardley. For those of you that saw that performance, what did you think about Fabio Wardley, folks? Let me know in the comments section. Let's chop that one up. The one last card I want to talk about on that fight card, Arslan Beck. So I definitely, the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight card had a bunch of cool heavyweight matchups on it. I talked about a couple of them. One of the more interesting heavyweight matchups on that Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou fight card was Arslan Beck Makhmudov and Anthony Wright. Not so much because Anthony Wright was really seen as any competition, but because Arslan Makhmudov is a spectacle. Arslan Beck Makhmudov came out of the Russian School of Fighting, deep amateur pedigree, something like 200 fights. Arslan Beck Makhmudov looks like a bear, folks. He is ridiculous. He's 6'6", crazy amounts of knockout power. You can tell when he's in the ring, he has severely bad intent. Mark my words, folks. Arslanbek Makhmudov and Bakudir Jalolov. Those two hard-to-pronounce names are going to be two of the biggest problems in the heavyweight division in the next 3 to 5 years. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Those two guys are problems. They're both gigantic. They both have knockout power, and they both have reasonably good technical skills. So Arslanbek Makhmudov got the easy first-round stoppage. He basically steamrolled Anthony Wright in that fight on the undercard for Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. Boxing community, for those of you who got to witness another mauling at the hands of Arslanbek Makhmudov, what did you think? For those of you that watched it, let me know in the comment section, y'all. We got to chop that one up, too. That was such a fun fight. I love watching big heavyweights, y'all. I'm never going to not be entertained watching big heavyweights. It's big heavyweights.
To this day. To this day. To this day.
Yeah, it'll never get old, folks. It'll never get old. And I think probably the biggest and awesome, the most legitimate fight that happened this whole weekend was O'Shaquie Foster versus Rocky Hernandez, folks. And only the hardcore purists were really paying attention to that fight. I don't think folks really understand how amazing O'Shaquie Foster's whole entire story and that particular defense of his WBC super featherweight title was, folks. O'Shaquie Foster 6 years ago was serving time in prison. He was looking at a possible life sentence for aggravated assault. It ended up getting reduced to self-defense, or actually it was attempted manslaughter, reduced to aggravated assault. He ended up only serving 4 months. Congratulations, the man paid his debt to society. 6 years later, he becomes a champion by beating Ray Vargas in that fight for a vacant WBC super featherweight strap. In his first defense, he goes out to Cancun, Mexico, in the heart of enemy territory. How often do American champions travel to other countries? They're really apprehensive about it. This man, O'Shaquie Foster, goes out there to Cancun, Mexico to fight Rocky Hernandez, a man who was loved by Mexican boxing fans. They had him fighting in a ring that was the size of a shoebox. The referee was against him. The judges were against him in this fight. O'Shaquie Foster was pretty much using his technical skills to make it a very interesting fight. In the 11th round, it turned into a candidate for fight of the year, folks. It was like there was blood everywhere. They were both hurting each other. Come into the 12th round, late into the 12th, O'Shaquie Foster finishes the job and gets a TKO stoppage. It's something like 2 minutes and 43 seconds or 2 minutes and 48 seconds into that 12th round. Going into that TKO stoppage, O'Shaquie Foster was down on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. One of the judges had O'Shaquie Foster losing every single round in that fight. Boo, folks. Welcome to boxing. Either way, despite insurmountable odds, O'Shaquie Foster successfully defended his strap. Boxing community, we got to tip our hats to Orange, Texas finest, O'Shaquie Foster. For those of you that saw that performance, what did you think? Let me know in the comment section, y'all. Let's chop it up. And I'm proud of O'Shaquie Foster. When American champions are around, you got to celebrate them, folks. So O'Shaquie Foster successfully defended his strap out there in Cancun, Mexico against Rocky Hernandez. By default, folks, I got to support all American boxing champions whenever they're involved in international affairs. How do you not? How do you not? We only have about 15 of the 64 possible belts, and our grasp on these belts is shrinking yearly. So we're going to keep losing belts, folks. I don't perceive us anytime soon to start gaining more and more belts, but O'Shaquie Foster is one of our champions, so we should be supporting these champions anytime they fight, especially in tough international competitions. And I'm going to end the video on that, folks. This is Hot Boxing Minute, the future of boxing analysis on YouTube and TikTok. Thank you for joining me on this video. If you watched it until the end, don't hesitate to cop some merch, y'all. I got the link to the merch store in the video. At the very least, hit the like, comment, hit that like button. Leave a comment or suggestion in the comment box below. Are you not already following my content? Till the next time, y'all. Peace.